Scroll down to... Okay. Oh, sound going? Maybe it's cutting out. Let me pull it in a little closer. Also speak up a bit. That should make it better. Probably do that. Should help a little bit as well. All right. I'm going to jump right in. It is a bit different than stuff that I normally stream, so if you are here because you have watched me stream before, it's probably unlikely that you see me work on stuff quite like this, although we did some work on a capture the flag thing in CircuitPython a couple of weeks back, and this is kind of like that. But anyway, if you're new, welcome. My name is Tim. I go by Foamy Guy on GitHub and Discord. It's more typical that I stream about CircuitPython related development. But today I am not in CircuitPython land. Instead, today I'm going to work on some of the flag challenges from the recent Snyk Capture the Flag, or they called it Fetch the Flag 2023 event, which is kind of like a web, for me it's a web application security learning experience, basically learning experiment, challenges related to web application security to try to learn certain kinds of vulnerabilities that exist and just think about web applications in a way that's kind of all about exploitation. Because I create web applications, and it's probably good to create web applications that are not as vulnerable to exploitation. So trying to ultimately hone those skills, and this is one of the ways to do it. I did do a bunch of them on the day of the event, which was last Friday. But they're going to be up for about a week, so we have a few more days at this point to do them, and I wanted to take a crack at a couple of them that I didn't get to on the day of, so that's pretty much what we're here to do. Let's see, I think before I get in is just pull up the chats in case if anybody is around. And where do we want to start? So I think I have, so some of these I did, some of these I have solved since Friday. Quick maths I have actually solved since Friday. It doesn't turn green, it seems, after the event ended, but I did solve it. Unhackable Andy I did solve, although I had a hint on that one from the Discord that I saw. Ominous I haven't tried yet. Pickle Chat I haven't tried yet. I did attempt this. I did also attempt this. These two actually kind of go together if I'm remembering the correct two. I did not manage to solve either of them. I attempted Repo Recon, and I have a guess as to what needs to be done to solve it, but I also don't exactly know how to do that, what I think needs to be done. Protect the environment, I did not even look at. It is the only one that was tagged as hard for web, although I should take a look. So I think these two kind of have my eye because I haven't looked at them before, and they're both tagged easy, but they also both did not get a ton of solves, so they must be not super easy. Right. This one I looked at several times. I probably looked at both of the challenges, but I never actually attempted it. Scanning with Nmap is allowed, but brute forcing is not necessary. There's 2 ports. It's your job to figure out what they do. Let the beat drop. Interesting. That's very, I wouldn't call it ominous, I guess, but it's very open-ended. So we have 2 ports, and scanning with Nmap is allowed. So I guess I don't, I did a module to try to learn about Nmap, but it's not a skill that I use, and so it's not a skill that particularly got committed to memory, all the different flags. One of the things Nmap can do, though, is look for ports that are open, which I guess we don't need to do because we're given the 2 ports that are open So I guess what we would be doing is one of the arguments that ultimately you give it a port and it scans the port somehow. So to start with, what we have is, one thing I'll do also is maybe go with the old Burp Suite browser so we can get a look at all the traffic too. A nice, easy to see package. Browser is under this. It's very bright. So this we got JSON. Is it raw JSON or is it No, it's an HTML page with JSON inside of a code block, which is kind of interesting. Served by Nginx, Ubuntu, eTag. I don't know what this is. I saw this pop up on some of the other ones. So far, it hasn't been related to any of the solutions that I found. Other than that, this looks pretty standard. I don't really see anything else particularly interesting in that. Oh, so I was getting this sometimes. This is like, this could be a problem. This could be a problem. Let's see, I was getting this and it was like not letting me actually load. See, I'm not getting a response from the server. It's getting stuck in the Burp Suite proxy. But I guess, I mean, that being said, I didn't get a response from the server in Firefox either, did I? Got a connection reset. Connection to the server was reset. I don't know if that's a response. I don't think so. Okay, so we have one port that returns a page with JSON inside of HTML. We have one port that doesn't actually answer, seemingly. Scanning with nmap is allowed. Brute forcing directories is not necessary. There's two ports. It's your job to figure out what they do. Let the beat drop. So let the beat drop is in code syntax or whatever here, right? It's like in a code block. As is the JSON that was on this page, albeit not a particularly fancy code block. Also, this page has nothing on it. There is no style, nothing, besides the HTML. OMI server status. Okay, what does that mean? Yeah. Okay, I think we're on the trail now. What does that mean? OMI server? What is that? What are you? Microsoft Open Management Infrastructure. What does that mean? Stack is a free and open source common information model management server sponsored by Open Group and made available under Apache 2. Okay. Okay. What do we do with that? Nano WebM. What can you do with that? How to integrate? How to integrate? I don't really want to integrate. I just want to know what you can do with it. Operations agent. That sounds fun. What does that do? Hey, what is this? That's not what I clicked, is it? Can I click a video? Okay, middle. It doesn't like middle click. That's weird. Okay, so my guess, I know you all I don't think can hear this, so this person's talking about what you can do with this thing. They're talking about how you install it on a server right now. I'm guessing ours is already installed on the server. Really what I'm interested in is like how do you connect to it or do anything with it. Oh, whoa, what was that? Hey, let's get back to here. You just sent a ping. Oh, BBC util ping. I don't know what that is. There's OVRC. What is that? Snap? What was it? OVRC? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Just saw something about a port. Five nine eight six. No. Drop the beat. I'll let the beat drop. Scanning with Nmap. What kind of Nmap scans can you do when you give it a port? Because I thought usually you're trying to find ports. There must be something else you can do with it? Or do they mean, yeah, because I can't just Nmap against the server. That would find like potentially other instances of challenges running, which is not what we want, I don't think. I thought there was some things you can do like it will try to tell you what's running on a port after you find a port that's open. Specifying target. It's all about finding open ports. I don't know. In a single port. What does that tell me, I guess? Let's try that. So we need to say -p, the port we want, and then the URL. This is the one that answers in the browser, at least. Try PN. One IP address. Or hosts up. Host seems down. It's really up, but blocking our probes. Try -PN. Do I need to do a different thing for URL and 7 IP? BBC util? How do you, I don't know how to get this. I don't know. Scanning with nmap is allowed, it says. Doesn't seem like it's actually working, though. Host? Volvo? I mean... -p dash? No, I don't know. I don't know. I think we give up on this one already. I don't really get what we're doing. I mean, it's no my server, I guess, supposedly based on this, but I don't know what... I don't really know what that is or how you connect to it or how you do anything with it. And I don't... It says scanning with nmap is allowed, but I also don't want to be just... I obviously don't know what I'm doing with nmap, and I don't want to just be going crazy with scanning. it, because I don't really understand all the different flags and stuff. And it doesn't seem like I'm doing it correctly to scan the specific thing. I don't really want to be just hitting it, checking every port. And I know that that tool can do that, so we just give up on that one. This is another exposes. This is why I didn't do these ones. This is another exposes ports. Your job to figure out what this does. Yeah, see, we get these three. Yeah, I don't really like this. Guess we'll see. Doesn't say anything about nmap or anything else, so hopefully it's at least solvable from just the browser or associated tools. Hopefully we're not needing nmap specifically. You need to do any kind of scans or anything like that. This one only got 15 solves as well, so I'm assuming it's a little bit tougher. 743. What does usually use that? I guess C2. I guess they're saying this is like a pretend C2 server. More of this. Okay, it's actually just we're not connecting. I see. I don't know why we're getting ports that don't connect. So it's like, see, it makes me wonder too, because at some point the infrastructure was down and it was just not working. Maybe we're having that problem right now too. Like maybe it's not. Maybe we're not actually seeing the full challenge. Maybe these things actually are supposed to work and they're not. That did happen at one point. Friday. Yeah, see, we just get three nothings. 3 nothings in here as well. Yeah. I don't know. Seems like it's not working, honestly. Voting ended. Challenging container has been cut off and you can't read it. Let's see. So I don't know if that resets to different ports or anything. I don't know. This one doesn't seem like it works to me. If it does work, then it's another one where it's kind of involving like scanning stuff, and I don't really want to be doing that kind of thing necessarily because I don't understand the bounds all the way and how to use the tools correctly. I'm interested in web front ends more than I am like mysterious servers with ports that don't answer. Give it one stop, refresh this, and then try restarting. But if it comes out the same, then I guess we give up on this one too. I think it's not working, as opposed to just you're supposed to do something with these ports that don't answer. But the other one, I think the other one might have actually been working, and we're supposed to get one port that does, and maybe we're supposed to get one port that doesn't, and we're supposed to do something with that. But this one, it seems like it feels like we ought to be getting 3 Feels like, I mean, it feels like at least one of these should do something, and this is the exact symptom that we got at a certain point on the day of the event when it was not working for a little bit on some of them. They eventually fixed something in the back end somewhere, and then it was all behaving a bit better after that. I think that feels like what this one is. And like I said, if it's not that, if we're actually supposed to be seeing these 3 ports not reply, and we're supposed to figure out what to do with that, then I guess I give up already on it. I think this thing spawns at 30 minutes 30 seconds, and it says to give it 30 seconds, but I'll give it like I'm gonna let it go to 29 before I try to load anything. Give it like a full minute and a half. Okay. Negative on the first one. Quick. Oh, okay. I don't know. I give up. I don't know if I don't know if it's working correctly. We're supposed to work with that, or if it's just not working, but either way, I give up. Unhackable Andy, I did get, but I had help. Pickle chat, we're making encrypted comms an absolute snap. All right, let's see if we get a front end with this one. We also have code. Came with keys. That's a little bit odd. Register user. Send message. Takes a sender, a recipient, and a message. Fetch the recipient's public key. Encrypt the message with the recipient's public key. Encrypted. Prepare it as a dictionary. Sender, recipient, encrypted message. Serialize the data. Encoded message. Response.json. Get message. Username. Get messages. Username. Response. Get public key. URL. Get public key. Username. Response.text. Decrypt message. Private key file name. Username. Generate keys. Doesn't take any inputs. Just returns them. Test. Testing public key retrieval. Did it only include public keys? Oh, there's private keys too. Main. Okay, so it's command line to actually run it. You need to give it a URL. Ours will not be localhost. Test. Register. Send. Get messages. Get public key. Decrypt. Okay. Seems fairly straightforward. Do we have a front end? Have kinda yes, I suppose. More than we had before. I don't know which one's which. Let's just clear it again. Okay, we have a front end. It does not return much, only returns text. only returns, it's coming from a Unicorn server, so it's probably Python on the back end too. Pickle is the name of the thing, right? Pickle chat, and the client code is calling pickle in here somewhere I saw. I'm guessing that's probably tied to our pickle.dumps data. Data comes from sender, recipient, encrypted message. So I don't really know exactly what pickle is, but we get to pass sender and recipient into this thing ultimately. Via these arguments, and if there's some kind of vulnerability with pickling data, maybe we can pass in something that confuses it. Object serialization. Oh, okay, well, yeah, that's a good that's a good hint. Okay, yeah, why not? Only pickle data you trust. All right, yeah, I think we're definitely on the right track. It's possible to construct malicious pickle data, which will execute arbitrary code during unpickling. Ever unpickle data that could have come from an untrusted source or that could have been tampered with. Consider signing data with HMAC if you need to ensure if it's not been tampered with. Safer serialization formats, such as JSON, may be more appropriate if you're processing untrusted data. All right, so how do we make untrusted data? Yeah. What is the pickle? Let's use serialize, deserialize. Thank you, by the way, David. Appreciate it. Let's see, Python object into stream of bytes later. Consulting pickle, we can see that. Yep, let's find out why. Okay, pickle dumps, pickle me, 1, 2, 3, the pickled representation. We get back some bytes. Okay, now reading. So it's like a message pack so far. This is kind of what message pack does. You put an object in, you get some bytes out. I wonder if message pack has this problem. Reading serialization is, so you go loads, you get back an object. Fair enough. Pretty straightforward. What's actually happening? Byte stream is created by dumps. It contains opcodes that are sent one by one, executed as soon as we load the pickle back. If you're curious how the instructions, oh, okay. Okay, well, yeah, that becomes kind of clear at this point. So this is some kind of like primitive byte code or whatever, right? This is not just data, but this is instructions. So yeah, you can, if you can just give it instructions, then yeah, I can see where that's going to be problematic. Pickle tools to create a disassembly. Pickle tools.dis. How rude. Just going to go dis in the pickles. Pickle tools.dis on the pickled, and then yeah, so we're going dumps, pickle tools, dis, and then that. Okay, so we get all this. So does that prints all that stuff out? Wow, okay, that's pretty cool. Proto, frame, empty list, memoize, mark, start bin Unicode, memoize, start bin Unicode, memoize, bin int 1, int 1, int 1, appends, mark at 13, stop. Highest protocol among opcodes 4. I don't know what that means very much, but okay. Not every object can be serialized. Files, unpickling certain objects, functions, or classes comes with restrictions. Gives you what can and can't. While in most cases you don't need to do anything special to make an object pickleable, pickle still allows you to find custom behavior, pickling process. Reading a bit further down the docs, we can see implementing reduce. Exactly what we would want, exactly what we would need to get code execution when viewed from attacker's perspective. The reduce method takes no argument and shall return either a string or preferably a tuple. The returned object is often referred to as the reduced value. When a tuple is returned, it must be between 2 and 6 items long. Optional items can either be omitted or none. Can be provided as their value. The semantics of each item are in order. A callable object that will be called to create the initial version of the object. Okay, a constructor, a function, callable object, a function. I think that's how I interpret that. A tuple of arguments for the callable object. An empty tuple must be given if it doesn't accept any arguments. Okay, so we have a function and then we have a tuple of arguments that we're going to pass to it. By implementing reduce in a class which instances so by implementing reduce in a class which instances we are going to pickle, we can give the pickling process a callable plus some arguments to run. We intend for reconstructing objects. We can abuse this for getting our own reverse shell, creating a vulnerable app. So the vulnerable app is on the server and it's already running. We do not actually have the code of the server. We only have the client. But we can presume there's code in the server that is probably somewhat like this. There's this called hack me, and it's taking base 64 from pickled. In our case, send message is taking a sender and a recipient and a plain message. And the plain message is getting encrypted, but the sender and the recipient are not. And then that dictionary is getting passed to pickle. Data comes encoded in base 64 for transfer. It's in decoded and unpickled. Let's run it with Flask. Creating the exploit we described above, we want to create a class that implements reduce and then serialize an instance of that class. We'll call our class RCE and let its reduce method return a tuple of a callable. Turn a tuple of a callable and a tuple of arguments as per the mentioned docs. So class RDE, we give it reduce, it takes self, we get a command that we don't really want to do that stuff with, I don't think. Okay. Let's try, before we get to this far, let's try some other stuff here real quick. Let's, dumps. Dumps. And then, so send message pickles this and then sends it to the server. So we're going to pickle, I guess, something that's not this dictionary. Ultimately, we're going to pickle a class that we write that does stuff. I see. But I don't know for sure we need to go so far as to getting the full shell quite like this. But we could eventually maybe take, maybe there's a one with a shell built in. I don't necessarily want to set up things to catch it that way. What we really want to ultimately do is just get the value of the flag, which is going to be somewhere. Probably flag.text in the server. So maybe we can just cat that and somehow get its value to something. To start with, though, let me just try to use this client. Also, we're down to 17 minutes. We'll have to try to reset that if we get too close here. So we have client, open in terminal, Python, client. Is there a help? There we go. So help. URL test, run all tests. Let's start there, I guess. The server, the URL is this. .url -- test. Let's try that. Retrieval. Testing public key retrieval for Hammond. Test error. Retrieval failed. That's not a good start. URL. Does it want it to be... That looks like pretty much the right format. An URL comes before test. And this still responds? The page? No? Not found. Husky. Not found. Does that come from the server? Base URL get messages username. Register user. I need to register first. Are these keys, do these keys not belong to a user? But why did test not work, I wonder? Okay, I feel like test should probably work, right? But it failed. Hammond's public key retrieval failed. Get public key, lowercase h Hammond. Tries to call server with that. Get dash public dash key. User not found. Do we need to register the users before we can do anything? Seems kind of weird because their keys already exist. I mean, I guess I have their keys. Maybe their keys are not in the server already? Register. Let's try registering, I guess. What is this? Let's go back to help. Register takes username and a public key file. So let's go. Weird that it doesn't use what is private key file stays local. So let's say, let's get back to our URL. Let's go register Hammond, comma, public key file, which is Hammond public key pim. Hammond registered. Okay, so let's register Husky husky husky. Okay, now let's try test. Yeah, doing better. All tests passed. Let's look here too, because I would love to get a look into this. Not a whole lot going on though. We just straight up get a raw plain text copy of the public key, so fair enough. When it's an error, it comes back as HTML. Does still all getting served by Gunicorn. That just gives public key. So not a whole lot of interest there. So we did all this successful. So original message was hi John, decrypted was hi John, testing, expected error, wrong key, decryption. Everything's looking good with our test. So we have kind of all the basics of that working. Inside of test, is it doing any pickling in there, or is test just calling send message? So test, let's run through test here. It gets get public key Hammond, that we know fetches from the server. It asserts that it's actually a key file. It sleeps, so it's waiting for a second. Test sending, so encrypted message equals a byte string of hi John. It's not actually encrypted yet, but it has that name. Response send message equals send message husky Hammond encrypted message. Presumably that then returns, I guess, maybe the encrypted one, I don't know, but it returns something. Assert message equals sent successfully. If that's not that, then it failed. Sleep, print, testing, decryption on Hammond side, original message. It's hi John, just hard-coded, I guess, because we know that. Message is decrypt message with Hammond private key, decrypt message, and then I guess it's also taking a username Hammond. Is that what it takes? Yeah, it must be, huh? Message equals messages 0 content, decrypt message, and then 0 content message, original message. If they are, so assert that they are equal. If they're not, make an error, print messages match. Yeah, here's original, here's decrypted, they're the same, hooray. Wrong private key, generating a new set of keys. Open the new private key, try to testing decryption with the wrong private key, response send message. So send message husky Hammond encrypted message. Wrong private key. But still sends a message from husky to Hammond, and then it goes decrypt messages wrong key, decrypt message wrong private key Hammond. If it did decrypt, then we have an error. If it did not decrypt, that's what we expect. All tests pass. Okay. That's all pretty straightforward. It does not do the pickling in here, it just sends the message. But send message does pickling. Right here. Oh, and then it does actually pickle dumps, and then it does actually base64 encode it as well, which is the same as what this one said, right? Nifty. Okay, yeah, that's helpful. So, yeah, send message. What does it do at the end? It sends a post to base URL send message. Method not allowed. What is what is in it? It's this has encoded message as data. I'm not very I think this works like this, does it? Ran out of input, okay. Incorrect padding, okay. Fair enough, so we're pretty much just sending stuff. So we would be making, and this was returning pretty much instantly. That was pretty much instant. I don't know, somewhere in here you could probably see the timing. I don't know where. Doesn't really matter. But what we can do is maybe let's test if we can actually, like, before we're going full on, let's make a shell and all this stuff, let's test if we're actually can run stuff this way. What I'm gonna do is I am gonna make a new directory, pickle CTF. In there, I'm gonna make a Python file. Create pickle. So this creates a class, it has a reduce, and then we get to put our command here. I want a different command though. I want just, is it sleep? Sleep 1? Yeah, okay. Buddy, what are you getting into? Hold on, I'll be back. Okay, cat's getting into a box, as you might expect. Okay, so I think if we just go maybe like sleep 3, I want to kind of see if it takes the server longer to respond, to see if we actually are kind of really running our stuff there. We run this, it gives us this, which is a byte string. Not sure if this is what we would put in here. Oh, okay. See? It took it so much longer to respond. It took it about 3 seconds and change to respond. The reason why it took it that long is because we actually did make it. We actually did make it. What did I just do? There we go. We actually did make it sleep. Okay, awesome. So we can run this on there. It does give us back an error. That's good that it doesn't actually crash. What else? I mean, how do we... See, I don't know. What do we do with that? I guess we're not getting any output, right? It's blind. Okay, so one of the things that I did on some of the challenges in order to exfiltrate data was use another server. Oh yeah, we're gonna need to extend. Got 3 minutes only. Hit extend. I noticed sometimes though you click extend and it doesn't actually update the counter, but you can refresh the page. Yeah, and it did actually work, okay. One of the things that I did in order to exfiltrate data on a few of the other challenges was make a post request to another server that I can see the logs of. So I'm going to log into that and do it that way. Try it that way at least. Okay. It's showing it's showing more than I'd really like it to in my connection to the server. So I have a shell over here. I'm looking at the Nginx access log, but I'm gonna choose not to put that on the screen here for now. And then what we'll try to do is with our command, we are gonna try to run curl or wget. How do you do curl? Can you just curl? Yeah, kind of. It redirected me to www, it looks like. Tried to. That's pretty much enough to know what we need to know, I think, though. So what I want to do is curl, and this is probably bash, so hopefully we can do this. Curl. And then this we can do with bash. If this is actually bash, we can do this. And inside of here, we can say cat flag.txt. And if that file exists, it will get catted and it will get put inside of this argument and it will get sent to this server. So I did not get anything in my access log. So that didn't work. wget also pretty much works. This one saved a file, which I didn't necessarily want for it to do, but that's fine. Let's try with wget. It could be that we do have curl, but the flag file doesn't exist either. Yeah, let's try a few more with curl, actually. Let's try flag with lowercase. I could be sending the posts from this file, I guess, right? Do I want to do that? I mean, heck, why not, right? I wonder if we're supposed to be... exfiltrating it by getting it into a message somehow that we then send back to ourselves. Not sure. Have to be careful not to typo these also. Could mess us up. Still got nothing. I should try without curl. I mean, I should try without cat first, right? Maybe it's, No, I didn't get it. Oh. I don't know if it follows redirects automatically or not, but that would not have worked. I mean, it would have gotten a redirect if it... I don't know if it would have followed it. So if it would not have followed it, then it would not have been expected to actually work. Nothing. Still nothing. We maybe don't have wget. Maybe don't have wget or curl, or else there's a firewall blocking it or something like that. So where do we think? So there's a copy of the public key stored in the server as a file, probably. If we could overwrite that file and then hit the endpoint for it, it would return it to us. How do you, can't you do like, how do you cat stuff into a file? Or writing text. Cat writing. Isn't there like a one-liner? How can I write a string to a file in one line? Of Linux command, like bash, basically. Oh, okay, yeah, this is what I was looking, I think. Oh, it's echo, not cat, okay. This says T, though. What is all this? If I do that, I view only hello in log file, but how can I write hello also? Console Linux? Oh, it's not printing it too. That's fine. I don't care about printing it. I can't see the print anyway. So echo, string, arrow key, log file, like whatever file, basically. So if we went echo string of hello into oops. If we knew the structure of the server, like if we knew where to find the flag file, another thing we could potentially do is well, it depends on what kind of validation it has on the keys. Maybe we could potentially give it a public key that's actually a pointer, like a link file, soft link, symlink. Not much in the way of documentation. I guess that can't work, actually. It needs to be zipped for that kind of thing. Yeah, this doesn't really tell us anything about where we're going to find the flag. So Husky public key, let me get that. Okay, so we're going to say echo hello into husky public key.pym. If that file exists and it's stored in the same directory, I guess it should get overwritten. Let's make sure that's the case. Cat something to whatever dot pym. Didn't work. Cat something, no such file or directory. Didn't work. Oh, we don't want cat, we want echo, my bad. Echo. Okay, cat whatever has this. Yep, now if we just do again, do we get something else? It's overwritten, okay, perfectly. So if this works, if it finds this file and overwrites it with hello, and then we can fetch it after the fact, that's kind of half of a proof of concept. Maybe we can then instead of hard coding hello, maybe we can cat the content of that other file into this one, and then we can fetch this one. So this one we get no output, so we're not expecting anything on the server or anything like that. If that worked and we're lucky, then get public key. I did husky. Nope. Okay. I guess maybe we do want a reverse shell. Keep reading here. Our callable will be OS system and the argument a common reverse shell snippet using a named pipe that will run on our Mac OS demo machine. Now let's run it. So we create that, send it, start the netcat listener. So the thing is, like, you would need to be on the same. I think you would need to be on the. So, like, he's sending the request to localhost, which I am not sending the request to localhost. I don't think my reverse shell listener could get connect back to that way. Sour pickles? So let's see if anybody has Python pickle exploit payload. This is another one that's just, it's running kind of a reverse shell thing. I don't really want that. Unless if it comes with its own kind of connector that's built in, but. Because I don't have a public IP that I want to be trying to catch that shell from that I can point it to. Okay. Let's try to see if we can start probing a little bit in a different way. Linux check if file exists. Test-f. Do you have to do multiple lines, or can you put an if fee all on one line? Or am I allowed to pass multiple lines? I don't know. I must want to maybe keep that one, because if we can find the right file, then we could potentially do that still. That's very good. So let's say root flag.text. Then that does exist. What I want to do is sleep to B. So if it does not exist, it answers instantly. If it does exist, it sleeps before it answers. Instant. Can this work on directories too, or only files? Test-F. That didn't work. I don't know. Oh, do we need that semicolon? Okay. Is there any file that I know is going to exist on the server? Python server. Unicorn is serving it. I mean, probably app.py could be the safest one to count on. The public keys must exist somewhere, but we don't really know where. Does this work on directories? Oh, well, this does not work on the ability to use the up arrow, actually, so. Yeah, I don't know how this is going to interact with my... Okay, it can be one line, but it needs another semicolon there. Okay. But something doesn't work. Something is a directory. Is it -F for file? So if I do... Okay, -F must be file. Okay, so we can check for a file or not. And we can do it all in one line, which is way more convenient than all this nonsense. If test keys, then, no, what was it? Then, looks like 2 spaces, right? 1 space. There is 3 spaces here. Might be representations of the new lines and stuff, I don't know. Sleep 1, another space fee. Okay, there's a keys folder. So probably the keys are inside the keys folder. Let's get back to our writing thing. Let me keep this one. Let's do this. Hello, that's going to be keys, Husky public. Run that. Whoops. Too many stuffs. Okay, now let's try to fetch the public key for Husky. Still got a real public key. I mean, the only other thing I could think would be maybe it does not store them. Maybe it stores them literally as just the username and no .pem. So husky underscore. I mean, I don't think this would work. Yeah, it says user not found. Let's try just keys husky. Nope. That one doesn't exist. So we have a keys folder, but we don't have a husky public key.pem. Which means that that failed earlier. App.py exist. Maybe a static folder be maybe one thing we could look for. A static folder exists. Maybe we can drop a file into the static folder. The app.py does seem to exist. Does static? Static would be convenient. It just gets served. Ah, yes. Okay. What if we go command echo hello static something dot text. Have a static folder. We don't know how to fetch anything from it. We have static index HTML. What if we first create static something and then test it? Does it seem like it exists afterwards? Yes. Is there a static index HTML? Oh wait, I did that wrong because we would have needed -f. Uh, Maybe we don't have write access. Means knowing if static index HTML exists might not help us really. I mean, it's not really an HTML file anyway, right? Probably doesn't exist. Yeah. Can't see files that are inside of static. Or we at least can't create files inside of static. The echo. No slash flag. I don't know how // work. There it is. So the flag file exists in the directory that this code's running in. And we can cat it probably. Hmm. Oops, we were gonna run out of time. We might have already. It's weird the server was still responding. Wonder if we're gonna be screwed now. I think one time stopped being able to get my traffic through. Let's see. I feel we're so close. Like we're running our own code on there. It's just how do we get the data back out? Get messages. Hmm. Unfortunately, now we're on a new server as well. 30910. I might just got no response. Somehow this is wrong, I think. I had this problem before. Once we changed ports, I was like not being able to really get my stuff through anymore. Bummer, send a message. I don't know why though. Why did I just change the port there? Make a difference. Okay. No. We must just not have curl or wget, or it's getting blocked on the network. And we're so close. Hmm. I mean, if it's blocked at the network, then our reverse shell would not work either. If it just doesn't have curl or wget, then maybe... I mean, we know it has Python. Can you one-line Python requests? Or like... this doesn't work, right? We can't import time, right? From string? Execute Python command from bash. -C. Okay. Probably does. It's probably not going to have requests. There's URL lib, I guess. There's a way to make requests without requests. Okay, let's see if our sleep works this way. We do know that we have Python, I guess, so if it does, this works, I guess maybe we can work something out. Okay. How do I Python make HTTP get request quickest way? URL.get. That's not true. URL open.read. I don't even really care about reading it. We're not expecting data back. I mean, we'll get data back, but we don't care about it. Mostly we're trying to send data. I don't know if these are going to work. Valid syntax. I don't have a... Hey, I don't have a semicolon in between my two. Import URL lib.request. Okay, I got that. Fingers crossed. Man, I'm really hoping. Nope. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to do. We can run code on the server. We can run code on the server, but we can't. Any of our code that we run on the server doesn't seem to be able to hit the internet. It's like we either are just blocked at the network. I mean, it seems like we're blocked at the network, honestly. I know that command worked. Yeah, I know that command worked, so if it didn't work on that side, it means that it's just not going to work for sending the request that way. The only other thing, I mean, the static seems potentially abusable, like, we're running out of time again. Probably going to be giving up here pretty soon anyway, honestly, but knowing there's a static directory, I don't know if I ever ran this or not. After we copy it to there, it still doesn't succeed. Doesn't exist after that. So it's like we're not really able to write files, seemingly. So, I mean, nothing to do with editing files is ever going to work, seems like. It must be... Must be you're supposed to somehow get it into a message. I don't have any users anymore. Oh, shoot. I think it's... Oh, well, I haven't actually... Is it supposed to be 2 or 1? I don't know. 2. Messages. That's weird. Seems like it should be sending, right? How much time do we have? 12 minutes? I mean, that's calling send message. Message sent successfully. Those things don't get printed, though. Oh, right. They're not getting printed. They're just getting consumed back there. Why don't we get any messages, then? Script private key file username. Sender recipient message. Message sent successfully. There's our data. Is it... As soon as we load it, it goes away. It's like it's getting marked as red or whatever, and then it doesn't exist anymore. Script. No messages. Husky, hello. Somehow, I guess the answer is that we need to pack a message object somehow I guess we need to pack our object such that our code runs and can read our message out of the file and then somehow dump it into one of these fields in the message. So it's expecting to find a dictionary with these things. The object is not subscriptable. I was getting the same error. It did wait for a second. Int object is not subscriptable. Students, do we send an int? Sent it. Under ID. This returns an int. Probably, right? Like, you know, 0 is successful, 1 or anything else is error. So we'll get int. I'm being silly. We're not actually dumping the right object. Yeah, it's about time to give up, I think. So it's taking the data dict. That's dumping the data dict. Gosh, yeah, the last several things I've attempted have been useless because I didn't actually attempt them. It's annoying. Maybe we could somehow call our stuff here and get our response as a string somehow, like subprocess. Subprocess dot execute command. Maybe that can work if we were somehow like subprocess dot execute command run cat flag text and then substitute it in for something here or whatever. Message sent successfully. Data. So I'm guessing that's because our data was not valid. And extend again. Feels so close. Recipient ID. Does sender need to be valid? Invalid? Sender or recipient not found. Okay. So we pass this a string. Return the encrypted. Zero. Fine. Because it's trying to pull the key from the server. Yeah, I don't know. I'm losing focus. Try to set the URL, I guess. I think we're giving up. Gosh, I feel so close. Like, we just gotta figure out how you could get that data out of there. Somehow, I'm sure you're supposed to pack it into this message so that you could then you could just get message. But I don't know. I don't know how to do it. It's not defined. Why? I just defined it. Initializer for C-type unsigned char must be bytes. Okay. That seemed to be executing our code anymore, actually. It was before, I thought. Ah, Yeah, those are just going instant. Hmm. I guess all those times when I thought it was still working, it wasn't actually because I hadn't changed it down there. There you go. Yeah, I don't know. I think the solution you're probably supposed to get to is somehow maybe somehow the code you can run allows you to rebuild this dictionary with data that you generate dynamically by reading it out of the flag file. Oh my. Wow, we had a, my bad. Wow. Let's see, I don't even know how long ago this was. My apologies, everybody. We did get raided a little while back. Keyboard is so satisfying. Thanks for the raid, albeit very late. Anthony writes code, appreciate it. You got great stuff going on. I check out your Twitch streams from time to time. You're always working on pretty cool stuff. Let me see. Yeah, sorry, totally was not expecting it. I don't know where our, that was a while ago, huh? You got a couple of folks around still. Thanks for sticking around, those of you that have. Thanks for the follow. 4344 defense. Appreciate the follow. Appreciate the raid as well, Anthony. You may be gone at this point. Hope you had a nice stream. Is there a Sentry error for logging performance? Sentry, Windows 12. Raid message, joinking the future. How did you even... Raid message? Sentry tab, are you doing I am doing, yeah, this is all from a while back, sorry again. I am not doing it in CircuitPython. We're just doing CTF, no CircuitPython tonight. What does this do? It tries to read a flag from inside a file in a intentionally vulnerable server as an exercise in web application security. So yeah, if any of y'all are still around, those are, I think, the top questions I saw. If somebody else had another question that I missed, and if you are still around, feel free to ask again in the Twitch. And yeah, my bad for not paying close enough attention. I got to work on my notifications. Usually it plays a little doohickey in my ear, but that's not working, I guess. Somehow I think we're supposed to get our data to get into this dictionary inside the server. And then once that happens, we'd be able to read it back by checking the message. But I don't know. I don't know how. And I think I'm giving up. What I am going to do, I think, is try to carefully look for the solution to this one. They're pinned? What's the name of it? Pickle something. Yeah. Fortunately, here is kind of dangerous territory. Somebody asked, just ask the following code to the client to send the message. Cute. So their solution is raise an exception that reads the flag. Interesting. It's not quite what I was after. Definitely not reading it into the dictionary. But that's not Python. Oh, but they're doing this whole OS. Interesting. Interesting. So if you don't do OS system, you can do exec instead. Interesting. I don't get how we're gonna get this back though, right? Like, why are we gonna see this? Raise exception, so they open and read. Let me try just like this. Why are we gonna... Why are we gonna be able to see this? Be a tuple. What is a tuple? Redundant parentheses. They're not redundant. They're making it a tuple. Oh, this part needs to be a tuple too, I think, maybe. Why does it think those are redundant? Oh, I guess because they are redundant. You don't need them to make it a tuple. That's right. Yeah, that's weird, though. I don't like that where you don't have parentheses on there. That's... I don't know about that. Error. The error, the ints, the int, that was a Python error. That was a Python exception. No index, no indices on int or whatever. Yeah, okay. Okay, that makes sense. All right, let's see it through. It's cheaty. I looked up the answer, but let's see it through at least. So this would be open flag.text. Let's read and then read it. Don't close it, I guess, which is kind of a bummer, but that's alright, I suppose. Exception. Raise the exception. That's a nifty trick, I guess. We can count that as a trick we picked up. Raise the exception. Raise the exception in order to get data out. Yeah, I should have picked up on earlier. That was a Python exception. Our flag. An extra new line. Correct. All right, there we go. We made it. We had help, but we made it. We were pretty close without the help, but definitely not going to get there. Raise exception. Now I know though. Now I have a new trick for the bag. Anyway, I think I'm gonna head out now. Thanks again for the raid to Anthony Writes Code. Check out Anthony Writes Code if you happen to be here and didn't come from that raid on Twitch. They're always on really cool Python stuff. Just had a cat tear ass past me really fast. Let's see. There's still a few folks around. Let's maybe pass the torch on. We might as well. Let's see if there's anybody who we can follow here on our next. What is this page and why does it not scroll? This is awful. What is this? Gosh. Oh my gosh. What is happening? What happened to Twitch? What? What is this? Okay, that was just broken. Yeah, a second ago this was just not scrolling. Here we go. I think we're going here. Just Dev. I don't know exactly what they're working on. They got a Python tag. I'm down with Python. Data stuff. Got an ad early, so we can't really see. I think we're gonna raid this person. Thanks for hanging out, folks. Appreciate all of you who came over with the raid and watched along. Sorry I was not paying attention for a while there. Hope you all have a good night. Check out what this person's working on. It's actually not Python anyway. This is, I don't know, function. We have function instead of def, so not Python, but enjoy nonetheless. I'll see you around.